Hello there. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, no matter where you're calling from. It's great to see you on today's webinar. I'm very excited about today. I'm always excited about these webinars, as many of you will know if you are regulars here. But I'm particularly excited about today because we've got a huge amount of exciting things that are either already in your Waybook account or are swinging their way to you. And I'm excited to share that with you today. So, if this is your first time to one of our product update webinars, welcome. My name is Mike. I'm one of the co-founders here at Waybook. And in this session, we're going to be exploring what is new in your account over the last few weeks and also what's coming up. And if this isn't new, if this isn't the first time you're on a product update webinar, which I know scanning the names of who signed up and seeing many of you in today's call, I know this isn't your first time. So welcome back. Thanks for joining us. And I'm excited about this one. So if you've enjoyed the previous ones, hopefully that's why you're back. You're going to enjoy this one. It's good. I'm going to stop kind of hyping this and get straight to the value here. But what we're going to be doing in today's session is going to be covering all of the fundamental updates, but a few housekeeping before we begin. Firstly, as always, we have the fantastic Sophia in the background. So if you've got any thoughts, if you've got any questions, if you just want to say hello, then you can, of course, do that in the chat. And please do feel free to say hello and share where you're coming from or calling in from today. There's quite a few of us in the call. And also you can get in touch with us through many other means, either the Q&A chat. So if you've got any questions that you want me to address as we're going through, feel free to click on that Q&A and put your question in there. And of course, we've got a few polls which are coming your way as well. So hello, Mayo, we're calling from Ecuador, and we've got Kathy in from Florida. Hello to both of you. It's great to see you. For those of you who don't know, I am based in the UK, but today I'm in Birmingham rather than London. So it's very nice to be with some of the Waybook team here. So without further ado, let's jump into what we're going to cover today. In September updates, we are going to be covering the ability to archive documents. We're going to be covering the new node type, which is collapsible nodes. And as I was creating this slide, I did realize that we probably need a better name for it. So perhaps you can help me with that on the end of the call. We also have custom email domains, which are available for certain clients. We've got print-friendly PDF downloads available in accounts. We also have an entirely new document manager. Now, this has been something that's been in the works for quite a while, and there's new features and abilities that are already available for you, but it will also show how we've set the path for some of the really exciting features coming out soon. And then we also have the ability to have bulk actions within that document manager. And a nice little one on the end there, additional brand colors, which I know will excite many of you who are constantly changing the colors of different titles and content within your Waybook. So without further ado, let's just jump in. Let's jump into the first one, and that is, of course, archive documents. So the reason why we started to look at archive documents is we realized that as a lot of people are now using their Waybook for many years and are scaling and changing the organization that they do in the business. There's some knowledge that you have in your Waybook. It might be a policy, a procedure, perhaps an SOP that actually isn't active today. So you don't necessarily need it live in the account. But it's not replaced by something, so we don't have a new version to update it. And actually, we don't want to delete it. So we actually ended up in our own Waybook, started writing archive in the title. And as soon as we did that a couple of times, I had flashbacks to the stress and anxiety I used to have looking in our Google Drive and realized that we had multiple versions of the same document with archive and 2022 and master. And we thought, no, ladies and gentlemen, that will not exist within Waybook. So for all of these reasons, which are very dear to my heart, what you can now do, believe it or not, from the title, is you can now archive any of your documents. So anyone with edit access on that particular document can archive it. And those editors are also then able to view those documents still. And I'll show you how you can filter for that. And also, of course, those archived documents can be unarchived. So this is available and accessible in all accounts, and you can actually access this from multiple menus. So I'll just show you what that looks like right now. But you can also then view that within your left-hand side. So if I just share my screen and we'll start to click around on the here we go. So from the Waybook dashboard, let me start there, which is a bit of a nicer way to start. You'll notice that everything's very similar, but little did you know that I do have some archived documents within this Waybook. So if we go into edit mode, any of our documents here can just click on this three-dot menu next to that document, and you can simply archive that. Now, what you'll notice is that document will disappear, but it hasn't entirely disappeared. We just hide that as a default, so your navigation on the left isn't always consumed and busy with all of the archived documents. Now, if you go to this bottom eye icon here, here's how you can change the visibility of what you're seeing on that left-hand side. And here you'll see that we have drafts toggled off, drafts toggled on, which you can always remove as well if you want. And also by default, your archive view is toggled off. So if we want to be able to see our archive view, then we can quite simply just put those in there. And then you'll see that this icon shows that a draft has been archived. And of course, at this point, you can then unarchive that document and continue to edit. Now, once you have a document in archive, you can actually delete that document just like that, but you can't edit it. So if you did want to edit a document, all you do is just switch it into a draft, and then you can choose whether that draft stays as archive or if it's pending and for edit and ready for publish. So that's the main way that most people will get to the archive document, but you can also do that from that three-dot menu up in the top right of a document as well, next to settings, and hit that archive, or of course, that unarchive as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is the first thing for today. We've got archive and unarchived documents. I know it's actually really changed the way that I manage the knowledge within our Waybook, and some of our teams do as well. So I have no doubt it's going to be really valuable to keep everything nice, neat, and stay focused. The one last thing to mention on the archived documents, once a document is archived, that content is then no longer searchable or no longer accessible through Ask, because obviously your readers will want access to only the content they have access to, which won't be the case if that document is archived. So let's move on to the second item for today. And this is the one that we are going to rebrand by the end of today's session. And this is your collapsible nodes. So the reason why we wanted to look at this as a potential option was because we realized that in a lot of scenarios, we have these documents where we actually want to add more context to that document. So this might be call scripts, for example, for sales teams, or it might be transcripts of of a video that you've embedded or anything like that. But when you put these content in, and a lot of people were doing it in the call out boxes, it made the documents quite long, and it also made them quite unsightly as people felt like they had to go for a lot more content. And then the other thing that we were intrigued about was actually how can we increase the ability for you to have more dynamic content within your documents? So what a collapsible node type is, as you can see here on the left, it's an entirely new node type. And that is essentially allowing you to put content in with a title and with a description or long form that can then just collapse down into nothing, essentially. So they are also available in both search and ask. So if you did put in a transcript for a video, then those transcripts will be searchable. If you did put in the scripts or perhaps kind of the specifications of a product that you don't need on the headline of the document, all of that is there, searchable and available within Waybook Ask as well. So this is available in all accounts, and it's available within the text editor. So let me just jump back into our account here, and we'll see how we will create that. So in our normal edit mode, you'll see that actually along the top bar, where you can just find this new icon here, and this is essentially insert collapsible box. So if you click that, it will insert it straight away. I'll show you also the other two ways of adding that. So one of them is through the plus icon. So if you're not familiar with this, all of the options are available on here to click on plus if you prefer to see it like that with the descriptions. Or once you're a full Waybook Pro, you won't be clicking anything. You will just do a slash and then you will just type what you want. So collapsible and then that will go in. Now, once you've got this collapsible content in here, you'll essentially then be able to edit the title. So we can create a new title, And this is kind of, let's say, the expanded description. And then actually you can add lots of content in here. And this acts exactly like any of your other your content folders. Now, what I'll do just to show how that might work there, I'll just use our AI to expand this. But essentially what that's going to do is it's just going to mean that I can just put lots more context, lots more information in there as well. So once you've got that, you will be able to publish the document, and that node will actually start as a collapsed format. So actually, let me just publish ahead there, and I'll go into the reader. So you'll see that this is expanded out, and then I can click anywhere on that as a reader to expand, and then you'll get that additional content. So there you have it. That is a new thing available in all of your accounts, and hopefully something that you will find a lot more use and value for within your Waybook documents. So the third thing that we're going to be sharing today, so I'll be quick on this one because I'm not sure this will be valid for everyone on the call. So this is really the ability to create a custom email domain. So it's largely for enterprise customers within Waybook. And really this is partly increasing the customization of the Waybook branding, but also for larger organizations, increasing the email deliverability where they have certain firewalls and blockers. But what this actually does is that it has the ability for Waybook to send notifications from your own organization rather than the Waybook.com domain. So the way you can achieve that, it is available for enterprise teams, and that has to be set up through your account manager. So if you are interested in that, just reach out and one of the team will be able to get that set up for you. Okay, the fourth thing that we're keen to get into your accounts this month, and in fact is already there, is print-friendly PDFs. Now, the reason why this became really important for us actually was because beautiful PDF downloads just use up too much ink. And we've actually had a few businesses, and I think some of you might actually been on the call. So Mike, we need to print out some of our PDFs, but it's just killing our toner. Or in fact, if you have kind of strict kind of eco and limit on what you can print, then you actually often many policies won't allow you to print full page ink. So what you are able to do now is on the download option of the PDF, you now have a second print-friendly PDF download option. This is available in all accounts, and it's available within the document settings. And let me just kind of navigate to that to you now and actually just show you those two different versions. So if I will just go into the edit mode of this document, again, I will jump into the settings and into sharing. So you'll see here already we've got download and download for print. So let me download the standard one. This is the one that you'll already be familiar with knowing. And if I jump into that, what you'll see is that the fully branded, the fully custom, the dated, the timestamped, the perfect Waybook document. So this is really that kind of professional version of that. And it has all of the structure and all of the information as well. Now, if we go back in, we can also then download for print. And the print-friendly download is actually the same structure, the same content, the same information, but you'll notice here, instead of that full page of your brand color, it will be white as the primary color. So actually, I know this is a very small thing that has had a big impact on the people that have requested it. The two last notes that I will make on that is anytime you download a PDF version of the document, it is your last published version of the document. So if you've got edits and things that have kind of been amended but haven't yet been published or reviewed, it will always be the last published version. And your reader PDF export is really what will enable your team to download. So by default, nobody else can download your content as a PDF. But if you enable that, then from that user, if I go into the from that user's information pane, they will then see the option to download the export that document as a PDF. So that is the fundamentals of the print-friendly PDF. So now we are whizzing through into our fifth introduction, and this is one which is a small update that actually has huge ramifications. So there's lots more features, even though it's kind of hidden within one tab within your Waybook. So we have the document manager within your Waybook, and the reason why we've continued to focus on this is really to increase the ease of you to holistically manage your documents. So we realize that when people are managing and optimizing their Waybook, they're normally in two different modes. One of those modes as a manager is almost looking at the content and the creation and the optimizing and the kind of reports. So this is very much in the kind of like the sharing and the training side. The other mode is very much in the holistic management of the documents rather than the content themselves. And for that, we know that although you can achieve all of that within the settings and actually identifying what actions need to be taken, the document manager view is really that home for you to be able to get that holistic view of everything that's in the organization, the state of the documents, what is owned, what versions, where published are needed, and lots more. So all of that is in the document manager view. And actually what the update is essentially an entire overhaul of that whole document manager. So we have new quick views for you to be able to get access to the documents that you need when you need them. We've got lots of additional columns, bringing in a huge amount more context about your documents into the document manager, and also additional filters for you to be able to get to those documents and of course export them to make sure that you have all of the knowledge that you need. Now, you can access this in all of your accounts. It's available on all accounts, and it's available within the Manage tab. So you only have access to Manage if you have edit access, of course. And let me just jump in and give a quick view on some of the things that are possible within that. So I need to go into the edit mode to access this, and then right down here, we'll go into Document Manager. And actually within Document Manager, you'll be able to see that we have a preset of columns, of activities, and some of that core piece of information. Now, each line here is essentially a document. So each of these individual documents, but it does tell us what subjects it is, and also what status that has as well. Now, firstly, you'll be able to see that on the quick views up here, I basically have all of the core areas that I need to get to very fast and often for me to manage this. So say, for example, I need to have a quick look at all of the documents that I am an owner of. With one click, I'll be able to see and condense all of those documents that I'm an owner. Now, similarly, if there's documents that I need to verify, we can look at those there. So these are all the documents that I am the verifier of. And there is also the other view of documents that I need to verify or review myself. And luckily, because I'm up to date on everything, that's not actually something that needs to be in there at the moment. There's also things like your archive documents, your drafts, your publish, and things like that. However, these are just the quick views, because what you can do within Document Manager is you can customize the columns that you're showing. So all of this different types of knowledge and information that you have about the document, what learning path it's in, what my permission is on that, whether it's publish, edit, review, how many steps are in the document, what version that document's on, what the verification status is, whether it's a template, what the kind of order of the document is, when it was created, what category it's in. You get the impression here. I can just keep on adding this content. And then, of course, all of that content that I have added into there, we can then create filters. So those filters might be, I want to look at everything that's in the welcome category that actually is pending a review and is perhaps owned by me. Now, once we kind of create these filters, we're able to then make sure that we can always see what's the core piece of knowledge and information. And what you'll notice here is up in the kind of URL bar, this URL bar will maintain the filters and the columns that you have available. So if you did need to send this to a colleague to say, can you just check this list of documents? You create that filter, send it to your team, and they'll also then be able to look at that same view that you're looking at as well. So, without further ado, that will bring us to the last thing that is very much related to this. So I will jump into that and come back in just a minute. And that last thing that's related to the document manager is the ability to do your bulk actions. Now, essentially, we wanted to really look at this because we know that when people are managing their documents holistically, there's certain tasks and actions that people are needing to take. This might be bulk publishing or bulk archiving or switching things to draft or actually exporting lots of things as PDF. So what you can now do is time saving those document management. Previously, you'd have to go into each individual document and make those settings changes. But what you can do now with bulk actions is you can complete almost all of the common actions in bulk across all of your documents within your document manager. So the way you do this is available in all accounts, and back into that document manager. And then you'll see the other final option of the bulk edit. So now if I just jump into here, we can now go into these bulk actions. Firstly, we need to decide what do we want to do on our documents. So let's say, for example, we want to enable public sharing. So let's say we need to share our documents with a particular stakeholder. So let's imagine we've got our marketing agency that we want to just share these documents to. We might actually just start to perhaps filter the documents that we want and then say, okay, on this document, this document, this document, what I want to do is for public sharing, I want to enable that public sharing. And then in bulk, that will just enable that public sharing. Now, what you are also able to do is you can see within here whether public sharing is enabled. And also with this view public link, you can actually then just click on that link and that will create that public view. Now, this is a draft document, so it doesn't yet have a public view, but it is enabled and that link would work for that document as well. So the bulk actions enable you to do your most common actions like changing owners, archiving documents, converting things, publishing things, putting things to PDF. And we're continually adding new actions into your bulk actions. So if there is something that you're trying to do en masse and you find yourself clicking in and out of lots of documents, let us know and we will put that on the list to be included into bulk actions. So I am keeping my eye on the chat because I know that we're flying through lots of stuff in not a lot of time. So if you do have any thoughts, if you do have any questions, then now is also the time, and we will address that as we move through because we only have one last update in order for us to share with you today. And that's a nice, light, easy one. And that is, of course, to have additional brand colors across your document editor. So previously, you've always been able to have brand colors in your document, in your Waybook. It is what sets your banner bar, your secondary color for your links and all of your kind of alert information. But what we knew is that a lot of people were customizing more content. And as they were customizing that content, they were actually using the same colors for headers, for text, for different things within your documents. And obviously, there's a larger set of content, of colors that you would use within your content. So quite simply, you are now able to set an additional set of brand colors that is accessible easily through your text editor. And this is once again available in all accounts, and you can actually access this through the brand settings of your Waybook. So if I just head back into this document here, what I can do is if I go to the settings and I go to branding, this is where we set the logo, we set the header color, the primary color, and now you'll notice that there are the extra brand colors. And here we can just add additional colors and of course change them with either the color picker or the hex code. And once we save that, those are then fully available in any of our text editor. So if I come into this and say we want to turn powerful knowledge into a powerful color, we will now see that we've got the brand colors, which are available for us to choose and edit for anything where you can use a color. So, ladies and gentlemen, that brings me actually to the end of today's session. We've covered a lot of ground in just 25 minutes, so thank you so much for staying with me as we've been through. As always, we are working on lots of exciting features, updates, and new functionality within your Waybook. The things that we're really focusing on now that we are hoping to get out to you within the next 2 to 3 weeks are, firstly, an optimized review cycle. So we now know that lots of you, as you're changing and editing and optimizing your content, you will push that for somebody else to review, to have a look at, to have a think about. But we want to optimize this to make sure that you can actually track and mark who has optimized and who has reviewed, confirmed, accepted, and suggested amendments to different documents. And then the second part of that, which is entirely different feature, is an optimize or an entirely new approval workflow. So if you have a very specific approval cycle that somebody edits, somebody else confirms, then perhaps HR signs off and legal needs to confirm, and then it goes to publish, you will then be able to set that up against each of your individual documents. So instead of just hitting publish, you can push it for the approval cycle, and Waybook will fully manage that whole cycle to make sure that your documents stay compliant, up to date, and available for your team at all times. So Ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the very end of today's call. I am aware that you've been very quiet today. This is not the usual level of engagement. So I hope that's because we've covered so many interesting and exciting updates. You're tapping away doing this and using this within your Waybook account as we speak. But if you do have any other thoughts or questions, now is the time. I will hang on for just a few more minutes. But for everybody else, I'd like to thank you all so much for joining us in today's session. We really do enjoy doing this, so please do let us know if you've got any other thoughts, if you've got any other questions, if you're inspired with a name we should call Collapsable Nodes, let us know, and we will make sure that that has more interesting name into your Waybook very soon. We are really excited to continue growing with you. We hope you have Waybook on your side to get your business on the same page so we can all enjoy some smooth scaling. But until next time, thank you so much. Have an amazing one and see you on the other side. Bye bye now.